Alright, hello. Thanks for coming and watching. I'm just building some Infinity Terrain right now. Got these Warsenal Cosmica consoles. Just came in the mail on Friday. I've already completed one except for the acrylics. Primed it in a metallic silver, but I'm probably just going to go over it with base coat of gray or black in the very near future. This one I have to glue in place still, so I'm just going to disassemble part of it. These are royal pain in the butt. I am going to upload a video.
Alright.
Hello. Thanks for coming and watching.
Whoa,
I'm just
heck?
building some Infinity Terrain right now. Got these Warsenal. Weird, I had a little bit of a delay there, but we're back. So, yeah, so going to be building these. I still have to glue this one in place, and then I'll go over the next one I have uploaded, walk through on how to build these because there hasn't been one online, and it was really frustrating trying to figure this out. But and this is actually my first experience building MDF terrain. So we're gonna put a little glue on the side pins here. Probably a little too much glue. That's okay. And then, and now I'm just gonna do the bottoms here. Glue these in place here. Should probably use a toothpick instead of my file to do this, but whatever. Just gonna spread the glue out and glue myself to it. There we go. Next step is going to be putting this guy on. Just slots in here. So just slots in like that. So put a little glue in there. Get that in there nice and snug. Like that. And now this thing in the back here. And that is my second Cosmica console all ready to go. We're going to punch out number 2, or number 3. Now the metallic silver only needed one coat to go over the, to prime this MDF. I've been told that it absorbs a lot, and you know what, you're right, because they were right, I should say, because I did do a set of for the Yellow Dragon, which I'll be assembling a little later, and that set. Okay, all this is coming out at once, I see. Nope. That set, where was it going? I did in a gray primer, and that took 2 or 3 coats, and it's still kind of splotchy, but I'm okay with the splotchiness on it. So that should be all I need for this next one here. Okay. Punch these out. So primarily I play, this channel is still new to me, still trying to figure out what I really want out of it, but right now it's just going to be live streams of, and maybe some tutorials when I get comfortable doing them. Much like the Cosmic console one I'm doing, everything is live streamed. I have no editing software, so I'm just doing this on the fly. If you have any ideas on what you may like to see out of the channel, let me know. I can try to do some painting stuff once I get a better camera, because my previous streams with the camera that I have not been great. I'm going to do some videos on how to play, or strategy guides, and they're going to be both Infinity and X-Wing 2nd Edition based. I know they're two very, very different games. X-Wing is definitely a little bit cheaper and easier to get into, but there's a lot to get from both. These war games are definitely not cheap, and they do take some dedication, but they're a lot of fun. So I played X-Wing for 5 years, or God, it's longer than 5 years now. It's probably coming on 7 years now. I started in 1st edition, and they recently just picked up good old Infinity here. So they're very different games, and maybe I'll just talk a little bit while I'm building this thing here about the difference between the two and what I enjoy. So X-Wing is Star Wars themed, obviously, and that is the main draw point for myself and probably 90% of the players that play it. It's a fairly competitive game, has a very strong competitive scene both locally and globally, which is really cool. It can be a little frustrating at times too, because if a lot of times people don't have a lot of time to play so they're constantly playing more of the meta lists and not really playing a lot of fun, depending on how much they play, and they just want to practice that, and that's fine. Then there's others that just want to play casual and have some fun, which is kind of where I'm at now after playing competitive for quite a while. There's 7 factions in that game, which can be a little overwhelming, but thankfully they have, in 2nd edition, you don't really have to buy into all the factions like you did in 1st edition, which was just Rebels, Imperials, and Scum, and then Resistance and First Order were part of the Rebel and Imperial factions respectively. So that was a lot of fun. 2nd edition split all that up. And the problem with 2nd edition that I feel is that the classic factions, being Imperial and Scum and Rebel, aren't going to get a whole lot to keep them relevant in, or since most of that content's already done. So there's definitely a content block there. The new factions, especially the Clone Wars, seem to be getting a lot, and even with the set that's going to come out right after this coronavirus thing comes to an end, or allows production to get back into the swing of things, as soon as that comes back in, they're going to be releasing another wave, and that wave honestly has nothing for me. Being Rebel, Resistance, Imperial player, probably going to sell off my Scum and my Republic stuff right away here. So core elements for the game that are fun: it's quick, it's very fast, it's to play, it's easy. Games are typically 90 minutes in a tournament setting. They can go longer, but even in casual play, I don't think I've had very many that have gone past 2 hours. And you can always choose to end it a lot faster than that, of course. The factions are fairly diverse. There's a lot of cool ships, named characters. Like, it's just fun to see your favorite ships fly around and experience some of the characters. And it's fairly thematic in a lot of ways. So.
It says to put the gate over, but I can't because this doesn't do.
Just give me a moment here.
videos.
Trying something new. There you go.
Thank you.
Sorry, just had to help the little guy out with some Lego. Yeah, so X-Wing. It's very thematic. It's got you can kind of get that sense when you're playing it of these ships dogfighting around, and it's interesting. Like there's a couple of like really cool things that interactions that are very thematic. Like Kylo Ren can show you the dark side, for example, which can cause havoc, like make you really cause you to be stressed, which will limit your actions, blind you, that kind of stuff. The other things that are kind of neat are like you got Force users, which are really powerful and allow you to do some pretty cool stuff with their abilities. Jedi Starfighters can maneuver all over the place with relative ease because of that. The game's kind of a weird state right now where some things are definitely more powerful and makes it challenging. Infinity is really cool because it's I got into it because it's a neat squad-based style game. So smaller model counts is the idea than games like Warhammer or Malifaux. So you're not coming out building 30, 50, 100 miniatures for just for a game. Games move 3 hours on average to finish a game, and there's only 3 rounds per game versus X-Wing, which I think the average is around 10 or 12 rounds, but I think I've gone up to like 20 before. The other cool parts about Infinity is that it's all objective based, which the only objective in X-Wing is to kill everyone, and that's for better or worse. So in Infinity it adds this, doesn't matter, like you can win by killing everybody, but oftentimes it's better to play the objective. In X-Wing there are ships and characters and elements that are just bad. Like you'll never see them on the board ever, or at least in a limited aspect. So, but in Infinity, everything seems to be pretty balanced, and every unit pretty much has its role. And there's like, oh God, there's double digits, like strong double digits in factions, and there's vanilla factions, which are the main factions: Pan-Oceania, Nomads, Aleph, the Combined Army, Hakislam, Ariana, Erdiana, whatever. And then they have sub-factions underneath that. And then there's mercenary factions, like the Japanese Successionist Army. So there's just a lot going on, and surprisingly, they're all fairly they're balanced. They got differing play styles overall, even, like, which can be quite dramatic. I really like Pan-Oceania, mostly because I like playing big, stompy robots, which is what kind of got me into it in the first place, and heavy armor, and you know what, knights are pretty cool too. And was going to pick up Nomads, because they came in the Operation Ice Storm kit, which was the kit that I bought, but overall I decided to get rid of them. I sold a bunch of them off, and I still have a few pieces. But overall, I think I'm not gonna be using them, because I have JSA, Japanese Successionist Army. I got almost the whole line there, and then I got I started getting into some Aleph stuff, because Aleph stuff crosses over with Pan-Oceania stuff a little bit. Like Dart, for example, is in both factions. Some of the TAC box, like technical bots, are in both factions, so that's kind of cool. The game plays, one of my favorite elements of upgrade cards in X-Wing was Snapshot. Snapshot allows you to shoot after moving, So more specifically after an enemy moves. So if an enemy moves into your firing arc in a specific range band, you can shoot them with Snapshot. In Infinity, Snapshot is the whole game. It's Snapshot the game, which I essentially, which I just love. So the main aspect of between the two is that let me back up here. In X-Wing, you got this ability to, I don't know what I'm talking about. I got to rethink my thoughts here. So in X-Wing, everybody moves in initiative order, and I don't really have an X-Wing figure here right now. So if you're a TIE fighter, that's unnamed and kind of a basic pilot, you might take your turn and move first, but you're shooting last, and you might explode before you can actually shoot because you can get destroyed. Well, in Infinity, everything happens at the same time. So I got some Infinity figures here. So we have this is a samurai of some kind, I don't remember his name. And this is a Father Knight, Panosiana. So if they're facing off again, the Father Knight moves into line of sight of this guy, the samurai. The samurai can shoot him or take any kind of action, which makes it so that you're always doing something during the game. Like you're always engaged. While on X-Wing, honestly, like while the other person's taking their turn, you could probably go and to the bathroom or get a drink or whatever. And so that's really, really cool. And you can actually do a lot of killing on your off turn or your reactive turn, which I think is just really neat. Okay, so got a lot here, and this is a little overwhelming. This is the Yellow Dragon kit. I don't really know what goes where, so let's figure this out. I think this is the office tower. There's 3 bricks here. I should have kept these sorted. Yeah, so I'm gonna end the stream because I'm just kind of talking in circles here. I don't really know what's going on, so, or really what to talk about. So I'm gonna end this stream and then come back when I have a better game plan what's going on. Just wanted to build this